Where did the whole idea come about working with players in Dubai?
Uh, I mean, I've always been an athlete, myself. I grew up in Canada playing football, playing hockey, sprints, American football, everything where you have to run fast. And like every kid, I wanted to be a pro athlete. When I got around the age of 19, 20, I started struggling a bit with injuries and stuff. So in the end, my football and my sprinting career didn't go as far probably as it could have. And and then this happened while I was studying in university for kinesiology, which is like strength conditioning. So I was already working as a trainer also and all that. So yeah, so I kind of like on my shoes as a high level athlete and decided to go all in with my other passion, which was to help athletes make it. Whether you want to be a pro athlete or whether you're a pro athlete and you want to reach your full potential.
So I've done a bit of research on you, and I heard that you were working at your local gym in Montreal in 2012, and you were looking for a new opportunity. What happened?
Yeah. What happened is basically, yeah, like you said, I was looking for the next step. I think in America and in Canada, strength conditioning is a bit more saturated. Sports is a big thing, and everybody's got a university degree. Everybody's qualified. It's a very competitive market. So, as a young guy who just came out of university and trying to make his name, it's not the easiest. And basically, long story short, me and two other friends that used to work in that gym, we all studied in the same university at McGill and similar backgrounds, and we met some people from Dubai, so we decided to come and check it out here, and we decided to come and open the first gym for athletes in the Middle East, basically. We did that for a couple of years. It didn't work out so well at that time. I think the main reason was that maybe the market was not ready. It was not like what we expected. It's very different in this part of the world compared to I think in Europe and in North America, where every little boy wants to be a pro athlete, whether it's rugby or football or something like that. Here, people are not as much into sports, which means the kids growing up, they don't, or the parents are not pushing them as much to train for the sports and to make it in sports. It's more about school and going abroad after to study and stuff.
Is that something that you've tried to change since you've been there, in terms of maybe changing I'm sure it's difficult to change the culture of where you are, but maybe when these kids see players like Karim Benzema training with you, maybe it inspires them to start training themselves.
Yeah, definitely. I think, yeah, I didn't really force it. It's just like it's what I love to do, and it's what I do with the guys. And Dubai, when I first moved here 9 years ago, sports and fitness was relatively new. It was booming, so everybody was starting to learn about CrossFit, bodybuilding and stuff. And then there's different phases now, like mixed martial arts and boxing are big. Obviously football also, but everything is developing more and more. So you have like certain people, I guess, in the region that help to push the movements forward. So yeah, obviously with my expertise training pro athletes and guys that want to take their fitness and their speed to the next level, then it helps to bring that quality to the region, and then people start to understand what it's like to train at that level, and it opens their eyes a little bit.
And you were saying a few minutes ago that it's quite a saturated industry, especially in the States. One thing I've noticed on your Instagram page is that you kind of like to teach people more than being like a kind of PT influencer type person. Is that something that you're quite big on? And do you think it makes you stand out as well?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, when I first moved to Dubai, like we did that whole gym thing, and then it didn't work out. So for a couple of years, to be honest, I did the whole fitness influencer thing. Like, I don't know if you saw, I was on the cover of Men's Health, and I was sponsored by all these brands and all that. And for maybe 1 or 2 years doing all these shoots and all that. And to be honest, it wasn't me, like it's when you've done sports your whole life, you need to see a score, you need to see the progress, you need to move also, you need to do something athletic. Like for me, for a lot of people, it's good enough, I guess. But if you've been an athlete your whole life, I'm sure like you want to be able to compete, you want to be able to move, to use your body like it's supposed to be. Like I've ran my whole life, I've played sports my whole life. Just doing gym after a couple of years, I thought it was boring. So I went back a bit more towards my roots a bit more. I've always been obsessed, with speed training, just being more explosive, changing directions quicker and all that, for myself and with my athletes. So that's what I went back towards for the past 5-6 years. And yeah, it just comes out naturally because that's what I love to do. And I think a lot of football players around the world need to know more about that type of training, especially because in general in football around the world, it's a lot more about endurance that they know. Like it's very old school in a lot of countries where they'll tell them, to get fit for preseason or for the season, they'll tell you to go run a couple miles every day, and it's not realistic. It doesn't make sense when you look at what they actually do during the game. It's all about quick stuff, acceleration, slowing down, changing directions. So you have to work your body to prepare it for this. And if you want to get better at those things, you have to actually train those things,
And speaking of the players, why do you think players go to you?
I mean, now more and more it's because of this. Like they know, that's my expertise. A lot of them understand more and more that they need to get quicker. They need to get a bit stronger. Maybe like a lot of the young players. Sorry, like this summer there's a lot of guys actually from the UK that were supposed to come, but because Dubai was on the red list, it was a bit complicated. But they told me they wanted to come here in the off season for 2 or 3 weeks, like young players, let's say from Chelsea, Arsenal, and stuff. But they've seen it obviously on social media. They hear from their teammates. They've seen it on themselves also. There's a few players that come back every year, whether it's Christmas time or in the off season in the summer. They come back to work with me to get that explosive edge.
I can see a few shirts behind you of some very famous players. Can you name drop, I guess, is the question that I'm going to ask you. Can you mention a few of the names that you've worked with in sports and entertainment as well?
Yeah, entertainment also, you saw, yeah. Yeah, I mean, from football, obviously from Liverpool, you can see in the back Sturridge and Alexander-Arnold, Benzema I've been working with for the past 4 years or so, I think. Yeah, I've worked with Ben Mendy, with David Silva, with Dele Alli, with Pogba a little bit, with Rudiger from Chelsea also. Wan-Bissaka also from Man U. That's from football. I also get other athletes from different sports, like I've had Alistair Overeem, the UFC heavyweight. I don't know if you know. So he was a big one also. And I've had American football players also. I've had basketball players also. Like professional players also, not necessarily NBA and stuff, but from the region. And obviously like 50 Cent and Cent was a big one. Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty cool. Like, how did 50 Cent come about?
Well, so obviously when I started to make a name for myself here, like I knew what I could do with athletes. I've done it for a long time. And one of the things that I learned, because I've been working as a trainer since I was 19, was, it's not necessarily the trainers that know the most. Like you also have to, like in terms of science, you also have to know how to market yourself, how to network, how to build a brand and all that stuff, So so some of the contacts that I made here in Dubai who know some pro athletes and stuff, they also know some celebrities, So through this, obviously because I'm in Dubai, a lot of people come here. So, I've gotten the chance to party, to take out like the game, the rapper, to go out and party with Drake, with Blueface, all kinds of rappers, all kinds, like whenever they come here, like show them around and that kind of stuff. And with a lot of other pro athletes also that didn't always make it to the gym, but still get to meet them and have a chat with them.
Nice. In terms of that kind of privacy aspect, I guess the players must trust you quite a lot if they're spending a lot of time with you when they're in Dubai. So is that something that you kind of pride yourself on, the kind of trust aspect?
Yeah. I mean, like, to be honest, me personally, I'm not huge on, obviously, to post on social media and stuff. I always ask first if there's anything, if they don't want to post. Like, I have some players that I've never actually posted on social media because their teams didn't want to, or like, let's say they were here, they were injured or something, or but in general, very often the guys actually want to show also that, since they're in Dubai, everybody probably assumes that they're just here to party and have a good time, but it looks good for everybody if they're actually putting in the work, and like we see the results also. Like, I've had guys like free agents training with me, and they're looking for a team, and then because we post on our stories, next thing you know, it's in the newspapers back home, and then over the next couple of days, you'll have a bunch of teams that see that, and they're like, oh, okay, this guy's keeping in shape. Okay, he's serious. Like, so then they'll contact the agents. So we've had stories like that also. So I'm fortunate, I guess, that I'm at a place like Dubai where it's like this, and people like to show. Yeah, it's like the whole Dubai experience. It's not just about the partying and all that and coming out, but it's also about like you're training while you're having fun.
And obviously you have a lot of young players who come to visit you in Dubai, and I guess young players are usually quite hungry, especially when they're trying to prove themselves or establish themselves. But what about those experienced players, especially the likes of Karim Benzema, as you mentioned, Trent Alexander-Arnold, I guess he's a bit younger, but what makes an elite athlete?
Yeah, I think I'm big on studying this myself also, but the mindset, I think, is the biggest thing. All those guys that make it to the top Premier League and the top leagues, they have the talent. Yes, also physically they're great athletes, but the mindset is the thing that will make the biggest difference in the end. Because I've had players that made it to the top. They won some of the biggest achievements, in football, and they were still young. And then from there, it was just downhill because they forgot how they got there. They just started enjoying it too much, instead of staying focused. So guys like Benzema, even like if we're going out in Dubai, even if we go out late, the next day he's always like, it's a point, he's always in the gym. It doesn't always have to be like a crazy workout and stuff, but he's in the gym, So I think that's one of the biggest things, that like he's a professional, and not all the guys always realize, like it's an investment. Like it's nice to live the lifestyle, to enjoy and everything, but you have to keep in mind why you're getting all these things and that money and that fame. Is because you're a pro athlete and you perform on the pitch. The moment you don't perform on the pitch anymore because you forgot about that, then you're in trouble, So the top guys, they're serious. Like, this summer I had Nabil Fekir here, had Nabil Ben Taleb also, and these guys at 9 a.m. they were in the gym ready to train. Not all the guys can do that.
So what's key to that consistency?
I think there's a few things, but a huge part also is for the guys to have the right environment. Like, when you become professional and your whole world changes so quick, there's all this attention, all this money, all fame and distractions and stuff. It's really easy for you and your environment to lose track of what you're supposed to do. So I think it's really important to have the right people around you, whether it's your family or smart people around you that will keep you grounded and remind you, what you actually need to do to make it to the top, and not just make it as a professional football player, but actually reach your full potential.
It's really interesting. And in some of the players you mentioned there's one player you haven't mentioned, and that's William Saliba, who obviously plays for Arsenal, and that's the club that I write about. So I'm going to have to ask you about Saliba. What kind of, I guess, person, because a lot of the fans, they won't know about William's kind of persona and personality. What kind of person is he, and how did you help him when he went to Dubai?
He's a very nice guy, very hardworking. We worked on, again, the kind of stuff that I specialize in, but I mean, speed, power. You know, he's a big guy also. He's strong, and when you're so young and you're so big and strong, usually your speed is not as, he's not as quick as let's say the shorter guys, So we worked a bit on that. He's a strong guy. Yeah, he did really well, and serious guy, And what I liked when I saw him is right away I thought of Virgil van Dijk, because the physique and stuff, and then the position he plays, and but I think he has the potential definitely to make it far, man. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He's focused, I can see him, man. Like, I know a lot of players, man, a lot of young players. When they come to Dubai, man, it's tough to stay focused. There's a lot of distractions. But he was here. He was working hard, and I think he's got the right environment. Also, he's humble and he's smart, man. I think, like, me personally, like, I know Arsenal fans are a bit maybe pissed off right now that he's not there and he's doing really well in Marseille. But I think, with the last couple of years that he had, like, I think last year, on top of the COVID situations and stuff, there was also, like, he missed a few games. He had a couple of injuries. So he needs to get his playing time, He needs to get experience. And Marseille, he gets to play also Europa League, and he's playing a lot of games. And he's becoming better and better. He's already really good, but he's becoming better and better every week, So, yeah, because, I mean, there's different approaches, obviously, but, for him, I guess next year when he comes back, it's not to be sitting on the bench, It's to be actually playing for Arsenal. So by next year, I think he'll make definitely a solid case for that.
Great stuff. And you've already given me the YouTube headline there, the title, Saliba is the next Virgil van Dijk. So thanks for that. In terms of in terms of maybe future teams you're going to be working with, I've heard that maybe you'll be working with some clubs in the future. I know you probably can't name them, but what are your kind of long-term ambitions and goals?
Yeah, so I was in talks with some teams here. It came really close. I think maybe you read one of the articles from a few months back. It came really close. It was supposed to happen. It didn't happen in the end. Everything happens for a reason. I'm happy with where I am and all that. Anyways, my main focus, especially in the past year and a half, has been to grow my online business. So I have an online training app. So I've trained over 100 football players on there. I have different programs. I have a personalized programs that I do with dozens of players also. So Saliba also, for example, he's doing some of the exercises on there. So for me, I love working with some of the biggest players, and then I'm watching the games and I can see, the results and all that. But to me, what I really enjoy also, it's really rewarding, is to help the young players make it to either professional, or the young players like Saliba, like Trevor Shaloba, like Faustino and Joran, like young players that are already with a team, and to help them take it to the next level, And like Trevor, for example, it's been a couple of years that I've been working with him. He was supposed to come actually this summer also with the red list. It didn't happen. But, good kids that are serious and disciplined and willing to put in the work, and then to see them, make it is an amazing feeling, I'm really happy for them. So with the online app, I'm able to help young players all around the world. I have guys on every continent. Average age is probably around 18 years old. So some of them older, some of them younger, but you know how it is. Like those guys, they're willing to do anything to make it, to reach their dreams, you know, of making it as a professional football player, but they don't have the right information. It's confusing, obviously, online what to do for workouts. Are they doing too much, not enough? They go to the gym, they're doing the wrong stuff. So I guide them, I help them, you know, program everything, and then they do the work, and then they see the results. So that's what I'm trying to do more and more, you know. And I can do that from anywhere. I can travel back to Canada. I can travel to players in Europe also and go train them, and still be doing my online thing at the same time. So I think over the next couple of years, that's the big goal.
Awesome. And I have a couple more questions, and then I'll let you go. I'm sure you're very, very busy today, as always. In terms of the proudest moment of your career so far, what would you say that is?
Proudest moment. I mean, for me as a fan, training 50 Cent was the biggest thing because I grew up listening to 50 Cent. I lived in New York for a couple of years. When I was young, you know, everything was about like rap and hip hop. So for me, it was huge to be able to train this guy. Proudest achievement. That, and then yeah, I mean, just looking back, I guess, like, you know, I remember like back in Canada, even when I was watching like football from over there, and we'd watch like the Classico and stuff, and I'd see Karim Benzema playing, and now to have his WhatsApp and talk to him whenever, and I hang out with him when he comes here and we train and stuff, it's pretty unreal, you know. So it's nice to sometimes look back and see the luck that I've had so far working with those guys, you know.
And do you have any stories that you're able to share with our viewers?
Actually, I have a cool story with like Benzema. You know, it's okay. It's not necessarily like that funny, but it makes you realize like how crazy their life, you know, becomes. Like so for Karim, for example, we hang out, we go to the mall and stuff like that. And I don't know if you've been to Dubai before.
No.
We have this Dubai mall, right? It's the biggest mall in the world. It's humongous, and so we were just like going shopping a bit, and we're telling obviously everybody not to take pictures, because the moment you have one person taking a picture, it's finished, man. It's already crowded in the mall and stuff. But you can see people like from downstairs where, you know, we're downstairs while they're checking out watches or something, and you can see guys that got told not to take pictures. They'll go all the way to the fourth floor, and I can see they're like taking pictures from the fourth floor, you know, like just to get a glance of Benzema. And so we stayed there for maybe an hour or something. We went to grab something to eat, and then when we left, you know, just before, like after we ate, there was a kid that wanted to take a picture with Benzema. So, you know, he's a nice guy, man. Karim is a very nice guy. He's very down to earth, simple guy, family guy also and stuff. So we were there actually with his family, his wife, kids, sister, and all that. So he took a picture of one kid, and then right away, right now I'm watching Walking Dead, you know. So it kind of makes me think of that, like how like the whole crowd just like came out of nowhere for pictures, and we had to run. The security came with us, and we had to run for a bit, and we found the security brought us to like the secret door. So we had to go through like the back door and everything, and it was just this crazy world, you know. Like, even though Dubai is really good in general for, you know, we can all walk around and people are very polite and they won't bother you too much if you're a celebrity and stuff. At the same time, like moments like this, they make me realize, because I've known Karim for a couple of years, and when I'm with him, it's always one-on-one in the gym and everything is chilled. But when you see things like this, it makes you realize like how crazy, you know, football fans are around the world. Like it must be great to be like, you know, that big and that famous, like all those players, but it's really important to stay down to earth and to appreciate it. But it's not always like all fun and games, you know. Like I'm sure sometimes those guys, they want to just go out normal place and not have anybody come to them and take pictures every time they go out to have dinner.
Absolutely. That's a great story. And I
Yeah,
guess kind of it, what'd you say?
not the funniest story, but
No, it's great insight. Like a lot of people won't realize how difficult it is as well, because Karim obviously is on holiday when he goes to Dubai. So to get that kind of attention is still it's pretty crazy. But I just guess to finish on, maybe I'd like to know about kind of you've just become a dad for the first time, I guess.
yeah,
Um, how has that changed your work? And how have you managed to cope with that kind of work-life balance, especially with the amounts of clients you have and the amount of things you've got on? And I think our audience might find that quite interesting to know how
yeah.
you cope with that.
To be honest, I mean, it changed everything. I'm a guy, like I'm a serious guy. I like to get up early in the morning. I like to have my routine, be productive, and all that stuff, get things done, But now in the past couple months, it's been a big adjustment. Like you're not in control of what's happening anymore. You wake up tired. Baby starts crying and stuff. Forget the work you're doing. You get a change, and um, it's going well. And thankfully, in terms of the players, like in May and June, so I was lucky. May and June was super busy with a lot of players. Everybody was here for the off season. July was busy also, and my baby was born in August. So when the players started going back to their teams, that's when baby came. So thank God baby was not 2 months early, because that would have been a bit of a headache. But it worked out well. And like right now, in general, I'm still training players that are based in Dubai. So like foreigners that are playing for Dubai teams, or local players here also. But obviously, like everywhere, they're during the season right now, right? So they'll do me once or twice in a week. So my schedule is not as busy. I have maybe just 2 or 3 clients per day that are like regular people, and then maybe 2 players per day or something. So it's more manageable, and I'm just getting back into my some sort of routine slowly but surely. Like I've kind of cheated the system also. So I'm sleeping in a different bedroom. So I couldn't do it anymore, man. It didn't make any sense. So yeah, and then so I've made my little office just this weekend, so I'm getting back into it. And but yeah, it changes everything, right? It's unbelievable. Like you come home, you have this little baby smiling at you, and it puts everything in perspective. All those little problems or stresses and stuff that you have, like it's okay, man. It's all gonna be okay.
I mean, that's the perfect way to end an interview with that kind of comment. And look, Nick, thanks again for your time. It's been amazing to have this kind of insight on your work and the kind of work you do with some of the best athletes in the world. So thanks again. And is there anything else you'd like to say? Maybe you'd like to promote before we go?
No, I think that's it. Thank you for having me. I think if the guys want to have more information, there's my Instagram is probably the main one where I'm the most active. And if anybody obviously is interested in taking their training to the next level, they can always send me a message if they have any questions, or if they'd like some information on any of my programs.
Great. Thanks very much, Nick.
All right. Thank you.